Because females have low IQs, right? Because women are stupid.
A woman sleeps with multiple people, that's cheating. It's fine if I do, I'm a man. They want to be me.
You're the man of the day.
I'm always the man of the day.
When people judge you, they're judging your character that you've created for the world to see. That's what Tristan Tate said when he was being interviewed by former Miss Illinois Earth Christina Dechev. Tristan related social media today to portraits of medieval kings who would choose to be shown in full regalia, with Bibles, crosses, and anything else they wanted specifically so they could showcase certain aspects of their personality that they wanted the world to see. Tristan and his well-known older brother Andrew Tate are Instagram megastars, self-made millionaires with a massive online community of followers dedicated to them and their teachings. Teachings that are geared to teach young men to better themselves and their situations in life. Despite all the good these brothers have done, there are sects of the internet that have been trying to cancel them for years. And it's true the Tate brothers have been controversial at times. Andrew Tate was kicked off of Big Brother when he was accused of hitting a woman with a belt, and recently the police raided their home in Romania under the suspicion that they were holding a woman in their basement against her will. However, that search came up empty-handed. Despite all their controversy, the Tate brothers continue to dedicate their online presence to teaching young men the value of self-confidence, of constantly working to better your position in life, and it's become clear over the years that whatever the reason, Andrew and Tristan Tate aren't going anywhere. But before we go on, let me know if you found this topic interesting by hitting the like button. And if you have any other topic ideas for this channel, let me know in the comments below. Andrew and Tristan Tate are most well known for being red pillers. Being red pill, if you don't know, is a mentality that tries to instill young men with the necessary change in their views and self-esteem and confidence to lead better lives, and yes, to help them meet women as well.
A man can be head over heels in love. I can love you with all my heart. I can be ready to die for you, take a bullet for you. But I'll still fuck that bitch.
Numerous online communities have sprung up over the years emphasizing this. The term red pill comes from the movie The Matrix, where the main character Neo has to choose between taking a blue pill, which would allow him to continue living in blissful ignorance, or a red pill, which would awaken him to the grim reality that his world has been overtaken by machines and humans are living in a simulation. Similarly, Andrew and Tristan Tate are avid red pillers attempting to offer young men a dose of the truth. The truth that even though society tries to convince men that following the rules, living for others, and being overall soft and meek are normal and admirable personality traits, people are actually at their happiest and most self-realized when they live life with confidence and purpose. Andrew Tate specifically has a website where he offers young men classes not just on building confidence, but also expanding their social circles, making more money, becoming better communicators, and becoming more physically fit, all of which will eventually lead to becoming more attractive to women. Andrew is a staunch advocate of actively analyzing your life and changing anything that makes you unhappy. Recently, he received major blowback when he publicly claimed that depression isn't real. Most people only paid attention to the clickbaity title and the short clip they saw on TikTok and were upset that Andrew would bash mental health like that.
Don't care about anything outside of yourself, and you're an exceptionally selfish person. That's all they're trying to do, is convince you and teach you to be extremely selfish. Let me tell you something. Depression is not real.
But almost nobody took the time to actually listen to what he had said on the matter.
I didn't say depression isn't real. I said feeling depressed is real. But the idea that depression is going to strike you in your mind and there's nothing you can do about it, I think that is promoting helplessness amongst depressed people, and that's the reason they killed themselves.
Andrew acknowledged that feeling depressed from time to time, even for long periods of time, is normal. It's healthy to have ebbs and flows in your mood. The answer though isn't to go to a psychiatrist who's going to prescribe you mind-altering drugs and expect everything to magically get better. Instead, we should recognize that bouts of depression are a red flag that we have to change something in our lives. If you're sad because you never see your friends anymore, instead of taking prescription drugs, it's healthier to simply reach out to them. If you're depressed because you lost your job, use that depression and anxiety to fuel your job search. If you're upset that you're overweight and think that it's preventing you from finding a mate, use that as motivation to get into shape. Andrew and Tristan are all about teaching young men to regularly work on themselves on all areas of their lives that they're not happy with in order to become the best possible versions of themselves. Despite what critics would tell you about the red pill mentality, this is the basis of it.
This is my fucking world, and you exist in my world. If you don't want to play that game, shut the fuck up or I'm gonna hurt you.
The majority of guys who turn to the red pill community do so because they're having trouble getting girls to be interested in them. And a big part of the advice that Andrew and Tristan will give them is that they shouldn't waste their time chasing women, at least until they've excelled in the other areas of their life first. If they work on themselves and get into better physical shape, get passionate about things, get a job that makes them happy, build an income that can fund those passions, and become well-rounded people, you will become more attractive than 99% of the other men out there. As is the case with most red pillars, Andrew and Tristan have been accused left and right of being toxic misogynists. If you just Google their names, 99% of the articles you'll find about them call them sexist, abusers, and frauds. Andrew's even been called the king of toxic masculinity. Even though the kind of masculinity he preaches is all about helping yourself first and becoming a better and happier version of yourself. Another big reason the Tate brothers have been criticized is because of their admiration of Donald Trump.
Trump is a guy who says what he means and means what he says. And even if you don't agree with what he's saying, I respect a man who says what he means and means what he says.
As well as hanging out with Trump allies and controversial media personalities like Alex Jones. Other than their admiration for Trump, Andrew and Tristan aren't especially political people. They aren't responsible for any conservative legislation and haven't organized any political rallies. But the very fact that they've supported Trump has become a cancelable offense in today's age. Most of the negative articles written about the brothers include the fact that they support Trump or identify them as mega red pillars, in an attempt to already prime anyone who's reading that article and doesn't support Trump to immediately dislike them. Finally, there have also been accusations against Andrew and Tristan, especially Andrew, over the years of violence or abuse towards women. He was kicked off of Big Brother for allegedly hitting a woman. There was the police raid, and he once also said that he moved to Romania specifically because the laws in Romania favored men, or at the very least were neutral when it came to women's accusations levied against men.
People say, why did you in Romania? And I explain my 5 reasons. One of them is the Me Too era. If you're gonna go to the police and say he me back in 1988, so you should have done something about it then. They go, oh, well, you're a rapist. I say, no, I'm not a rapist. But I like the idea of being able to just say to do what I want. I like being free.
Whereas in other parts of the world, a man was guilty until proving his innocence. But the thing is, there has never been any actual proof that Andrew does those things. No investigation or arrest has ever brought up any charges that stuck, because the most likely explanation is that Andrew doesn't actually mistreat or abuse women. Think about the earlier quote from Tristan about medieval kings displaying and exaggerating certain parts of themselves because that's what they wanted to highlight. Andrew has said before that he would slap a woman if she ever made him choose between her and his brother. But that isn't some confession, it's a hypothetical and an exaggerated one to drive home how passionate he is about not letting someone he just met get in the way of family. He doesn't actually hit women, he just portrays a character, publicly, that talks very bluntly about those things to drive home a point. That's why no matter who's made allegations and no matter how many times the police tried to pin something on him, he's always come out clean. Because he is clean. His online persona is an exaggerated version of who he is in real life, yes, but that doesn't mean he'd resort to violence or mistreatment if push came to shove. The Tate brothers, no matter how hard large portions of the internet have tried, won't ever be cancelled, with good reason. Even though they come across in an unorthodox way, at the heart of their fan bases there's an understanding that what they're really trying to do is teach young men to do the work on themselves in every possible way and become the best versions of themselves that they can possibly be. And that is a good thing. The world, and men in particular, need more of that. We need more young men to hear that it's not okay to just let life happen to you. Being who you are will get you nowhere, and proving who you are will get you everywhere. It's worth it to work hard to become the person you envision yourself to be. Society continually tells us to lay down and accept whatever happens to us. If you're out of work, it's not your fault. If you're out of shape, it's not your fault. Nothing is ever your fault. The fact is, through a series of decisions or indecisions, all of these things will directly or indirectly be your fault. There's always room for improvement, and yes, sometimes life can throw you an unexpected curveball, but it's up to you to adjust, replan, and re-execute. Your company could shut down, and even if you were the hardest working person in the world, you'd still be out of a job. You could have been raised to be addicted to junk food so that once you're on your own, you're in an uphill battle to be healthy. You shouldn't blame yourselves about the circumstances you're born into, or if you wind up in circumstances you don't like, but it is up to you to change them if you're not happy. That is what Andrew and Tristan Tate want young men to learn how to do. Every generation there are a legion of young men with no strong male role model in their life to guide them on how to be men, on how to provide, protect, and prosper. Andrew and Tristan fill that void.
Where are they? There are no other male role models. Because to inspire the youth of men, you need to be aspirational. They have to look at you and want to be like you. And there's no other male role models that have had the tenacity or the aggressiveness to have such a fantastic life as I have.
As the generations of aimless young men looking for purpose and guidance grow, the Tate brothers' following will continue to grow with it. That's why the Tate brothers, who use their online platforms to improve the lives of those who follow them, will never be cancelled.